So, what's it to be?
Sorry?
My offer. Will you run with 300k?
Chris, we're on our way to the inquest.
So?
So my mind isn't exactly on the deal at the moment.
Pull the other one.
Now, you gonna be a good boy? Go to sleep for Mummy.
It's a very fair price and fast. I can have the contracts drawn up this afternoon. Look, stop kidding yourself. You won't get another bid as good. You won't get another bid at all.
I already have.
You ready? Oh, no.
What?
Take him back up to the nursery.
Frank?
I won't have you doing this, Kim. I will not have you carting him around for effect.
I'm not. I want him with me.
On the stand when you're giving evidence, how crass can you get?
I want him there.
Have some respect for the Glovers, if not your own son. Now take him back upstairs.
Let it go, Mum. There's nothing we can do about it.
Still be here now. Kathy? Kim? You're looking well.
You're the only person I know who can turn that into an accusation. Nice suit.
Thank you.
Well, that's the formalities over with.
Kathy?
Don't bother.
With what?
Don't bother trying to justify it. You'll do as you always do, whatever's best for you. And the Glovers, Frank, me, even James, we can all go and hang.
You're wrong.
Leave it.
I nearly forgot. Happy birthday.
I'm not quite clear from your statement, Mrs. Tate. What caused you to leave your son in the bedroom for such a period of time?
I'm not in the habit of leaving my child unattended.
I'm not saying that you are. Nevertheless, you were away from him long enough for the fire to start, take hold, and spread.
I was loading the car. We were planning to leave that night, in secret.
We?
James and I. I wanted to take him away with me. Make a fresh start.
And Mr. Glover?
What about him?
Why was he there, given that it was a secret?
I'd asked him. I asked him to come with us. I told him what time we'd be leaving. I thought he'd stood us up.
But he didn't.
No, he arrived in time. He turned up, but it was only to say goodbye. It was very painful for both of us. I loved David more than anything in the world. I couldn't bear to lose him.
If I could bring you back to the sequence of events, Mrs. Tate.
And he couldn't bear to be separated from James.
From your son?
From his son. David was James's natural father. I thought this would be enough to sway him, but he'd made his decision. He'd had enough of the deceit. He wanted to stay in Emmerdale with his wife and family. And now my son will never know his father. We've all lost him.
Are we supposed to be grateful?
For what?
Your little goody two-shoes act. Well, are we?
Grow up, Linda.
All you've ever done is used him to score points off Frank.
All I ever did was love him.
Don't make me laugh. If you really loved him...
I'd care for his family, including his widow. I'd lie on oath to tell them what they wanted to hear, no matter how much it cost me. That's what grown-ups do. Now get out of my way.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Now who's telling lies?
Well, from where I'm standing, it still looks like you. I mean, all this about James being our Dave's son. You've changed your tune.
Well, you'll have to learn to live with it, because it's fact.
No, it's not. It's just another way of twisting the knife. In Frank, in Kathy, and my mum and dad.
Look, drop it, you two, will you?
You should try thanking me instead of bandying insults. I've done what it takes to make your mother happy. She wants to believe that her son was Kathy's good and faithful husband. And I've gone along with it for her sake.
Oh, really?
But don't ask me to lie to my son. Because when he's old enough, I'll tell him the truth.
Truth? You don't even know the meaning of the word.
Unlike your husband.
And what do you mean by that?
He knows what I mean.
No, I don't.
Doesn't it stick in your craw, Biff? The times you begged David to come clean. And look at you now. Still covering up for him.
You want this in the papers, don't you? Front page.
What about what David wanted? What did he want?
Kathy, he wanted you.
He wanted to be a good man, a loyal husband.
Yeah?
He wanted excitement and secrets. He wanted Kim's son. The trouble with David was that he wanted the lot. He knew us too well, Biff. He knew you'd always cover up for him. He knew I'd always take him back.
No, he loved you. It's you that he married.
But that night, he was going to leave with her.
No.
Just say it.
No, Kathy.
He knew I'd believe you when you lie because I wanted to. I don't want to anymore. He was leaving, wasn't he? Biff.
Yes.
Walked out like I was in the wrong. Don't you say a word. In fact, don't you ever speak to me again, or so help me God, I'll swing for you.
Do you want the good news or the bad news?
Is there any good news?
Oh, I think so. Steve called. Says he can't help you after all.
And that's the good news.
I spoke to the bank. They've seen sense at last. I'll take the livery business for $350,000. I thought you'd be pleased. Good news, stepmummy. My solicitor's drawing up a contract for the stables as we speak.
And you've raised the cash?
Every last cent. Why did you decide to deal with me?
Because I thought we'd both enjoy stitching your father up.
You thought right.
I may not like you, Chris, but I do know you. I had to do Kathy down. But she's had a terrible time and, well, much of it my fault. But one truth remains. I will always love your son, and I'm the mother of your grandchild.
And he's definitely Dave's.
Of course. I don't want James to be estranged from his grandparents, whatever happens. You've every right to see him. Be involved in his growing up.
You do realise I hate you?
You've every good reason.
Thanks for this.
What's going on?
Kim's letting me see my grandchild.
David's son.
No more, Kim. You've destroyed enough lives. Jan, this is not your grandson.
It's a lie.
Very, very soon you'll all see what the truth is.
And what's that supposed to mean?
I'll prove that James is my son. I don't know what your game is, but I'm not going to let you cause any more trouble.
I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm just giving James the chance of two doting grandparents.
They are not his grandparents, and they're not welcome here.
Frank.
I'm busy.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but this could be urgent.
Keller Windsor's ran away from home.
Well, what's that got to do with me?
Our parents are going spare. They've asked local farmers to make a search of outbuildings and barns.
OK, get it organised. But don't use it as an excuse to skive off for the rest of the day.
And you're the one who claims to be so concerned about kids.
Big difference. Kelly's old enough to look after herself. James is still a baby. My baby.
David's his father, not you. The whole village knows it by now.
Well, maybe they're in
You
for
need
us.
to know about the golf club and stables.
Impressive. As soon as your solicitor gets the contracts drawn up, we're ready to go.
You seem in a hurry.
I want things done quickly and quietly.
You mean you haven't told Frank, and you don't want him to find out?
There's no need.
I need to talk to you about... I didn't realise you were still here.
Just going.
Just a minute.
Is this going to take long? I've got a busy day ahead of me.
Where are you going?
Visiting.
I meant what I said this morning. I'm not going to have you causing me any more trouble. It's over, Kim. Dave is dead, and James is here where he belongs. You've lost. Now, why don't you accept that fact, take the money, and get out of our lives?
What a charming offer. But I'm afraid I have to decline.
You won't get a better one.
This isn't about money anymore, Frank. It's about the truth. Because it's the one thing you can't get away from. And I'm never going to let you forget it. I wanted to apologise for Frank's behaviour yesterday. It was unforgivable.
Well, it's good of you to come, but Mr. Tate made his feelings quite clear yesterday, and I guess that has to be the end of it.
James is your grandchild. You've got every right to be involved in his upbringing.
I want to see James again, but I don't want to become part of some battle between you and Frank.
I can understand that. It just feels like everything that's happened between Frank and I over the years has been part of some war. And I'm not going to let my son be a casualty.
Well, son already has been.
Yeah, well, I can't change that. But David gave his life to save James. Our baby. It's all we've got left of him now. We can't let Frank
When I
take
saw David with James, I realised I was giving up the only chance of happiness I was ever going to get.
I don't expect you to understand or forgive me. But David must have done, or he'd never have been at Home Farm that night.
Yeah, we've got to live with that same as you. But Frank will never give up. It's not in his nature.
I'm not letting him have James. I want him to be brought up the way David would have wanted. And if you can't come to Home Farm, then I'll bring him here to visit you.
Frank will never let you do that.
There's no way he can stop it. Short of killing me. Maybe he's capable of that. I don't know. But whatever happens, I've made up my mind. And I'm not giving up
He's
either.
been good as gold all day. There we are.
Well, he's lucky. He's not old enough to understand all the battles that are going on around him yet. You must wonder what you walked into sometimes.
Well, I just do my job and try and stay out of it.
Can't be easy. Frank pays your wages and he expects his money's worth. I know he's warned you I'm not to be trusted. But that's because I don't do what I'm told anymore. Especially where James is concerned. But I'd never do my son any harm.
Oh, can't imagine anyone wanted to hurt him. Oh, he's such a sweet little boy.
Yes, and I'm sure Jan and Ned Glover would agree with you. Such a shame Frank's banned them from seeing their grandson anymore. But perhaps they'll stop taking orders too.
Sophie, would you mind taking James up to the nursery, please? Mrs. Tate and I have something to say. Well, here's to a brighter future for young James Francis Tate, my son and heir.
Maybe you can frighten people in the village into pretending they believe that. But you and I will always know the truth.
It is the truth.
Every time I look into his eyes, I see David. That's what keeps me going. What'll give me the strength to fight you to the end.
Then, I think I'd better give you this.
What is it? Another bribe? You're wasting your time, Frank. There isn't enough money in the world to make me deny that James is David's son.
That would be quite touching if it wasn't so funny. You better read it. Those are the results of a blood test I've had done. It proves beyond doubt that Dave isn't his father. So baby James is the result of our true love after all.
No! Sorry.
Sophie. He's so innocent. Doesn't know what a terrible world he's come into.
He's got a mum that loves him. That can't be bad.
And what about his father?
I'm sure Frank loves him too.
Like he loves any new acquisition for the Tate Empire?
He's as much your son as Frank's. It's up to you to teach him that.
I know. You're right. It's just I can't stop thinking what I was going to tell him about David. How he was young, good, and how much he loved me. Now what do I say?
I don't know, Kim. But maybe let him make up his own mind about Frank.
This wasn't meant to happen. He was David's son. He was all I had left.
Come on.
All I had of David.
Dreaming of sunnier climes, Kim?
Something like that?
I don't blame you. After all, what's to keep you in Emmerdale? Especially now you know the baby isn't Glover's. So why don't you just accept my offer for the stables? It's a lot of dosh.
I'm thinking about it.
You could just take the money and run. Don't you think you'd be happier?
Maybe.
Oh, I think so. You be happier? Well, we'd be happier. And as for little James, well, the last thing he needs is you as his mother. It won't work, you know.
What?
This sad little Kim act. I know what you're up to.
Oh, do tell me.
You think I'll offer you more money if I feel sorry for you.
You've never felt sorry for anyone, apart from yourself.
Well, I'm glad you understand me. So maybe you'll accept this then. 350 grand. So why don't you pull yourself together and get the contract sorted out?
Fine. I couldn't care less anymore.
The lorry. And then he got lots of lorries. And now he's got...
You can't wait, can you, Frank? You can't give him 5 minutes to find out who he is or what he might be. He'll be just who his father wants, like it or not.
What's the alternative, Kim? To take after his mother?
Kim Tate, come out here.
Hello, Kathy. What can I do for you?
Leave me in peace.
No problem. You and I have nothing left to talk about.
We won't have when I've finished. I found this in Dave's things, a charming picture of mother and child you gave to him when you split up.
So?
Dave and I loved each other. We could have been happy together, but you couldn't let that happen.
Face the truth, Kathy. He wanted me, not you.
No, you just used every trick in the book to keep your claws in him. Like the baby, making him think it was his. You knew Dave was too decent to abandon his own child, except that it wasn't his. Frank's told me about the blood test.
Ah, so that's what this is about. Well, don't think he told you out of kindness. It's just another way of scoring points.
I've lost everything, but that's not enough for you two. You've still got to involve me in your petty wars.
Kathy,
Shut up, Frank! You told me Dave was a hero because he died saving your son. As if that made a difference. He's still dead. You've still taken away any chance of happiness I ever had. Take your photograph back, Kim. It never had anything to do with me and Dave.
I loved him, Kathy. You have to believe that.
You don't know what love is. You can't even love the baby you claim to care about so much. You're fighting over him like he was a piece of property because that's all you understand. I feel so sorry for him. He's never going to know love or happiness because whoever wins your battle, that baby lost as much as I did that night. He'd have been better off dead.
I'm sorry, Kathy. I didn't mean to hurt you anymore. I just thought you had a right to know.
I've said what I came for, and that's an end to it.
Kathy, come on. I'll take you home. You're in no state to drive.
Thanks, Biff.
I don't know how you can live with yourself. Not after what you've done. You're not wanted here. Why don't you just get out?
That's what everyone thinks now, Kim. And they're not going to stop telling you till you listen.
You all right? Come on. I'll fix you a drink.
I don't blame her for hating me. I'd be the same if he'd chosen her.
There's no point going over the past anymore.
I did love him, Sophie. Whatever they say, nothing can change that. He's the only man I ever really loved.
You've got to think about your future. What are you going to do, Kim?
She's going to get out of this village as soon as possible. I mean, even you must see the writings on the wall by now, Kim. There'll be no one to mourn you. Even your son will soon forget you.
Don't you think she's had enough for one day?
Well, I'd say she brought it on herself. Now, if you'll excuse us, I've got some business to discuss with Mrs. Tate in private.
It's okay, Sophie. I can handle this.
You're finished in Emmerdale, Kim. We both know that. So, take the money and go.
Take him away from me.
All he needs is a bit of attention, Kim, that's all.
I don't want him anywhere near me.
You're upset, you don't mean that.
Don't I? You think I could love Frank's child?
He's still your baby. I don't believe you can change how you feel just because of what's written on a bit of paper.
I don't know what I feel anymore.
Maybe if you held James, it'd remind you.
I told you I don't want him near me. For his sake as much as mine. I don't know what I might do to him.
You'd never hurt him, Kim.
You heard Kathy. He'd have been better off dead.
Kim, here's the contract. My cheque for £350,000. Just needs you to sign here. Oh, come on, Kim. What's the matter with you? You look like you haven't slept for a month. Just sign this, and we can leave each other alone. Kim!
David, I'm so sorry. I wish I could hold you in my arms. There just doesn't seem any point to all this without you. I miss you so much. I love you, David. I love you with all my heart.
You all right, Mrs. Tate?
Yes, thank you. I'm absolutely fine. Chris?
So, you're deigning to speak to me at last. Decided to sign the contract?
Yes.
Good. Let's get it over with before Dad comes in. Here's the cheque. And if you just want to put your paw print here.
A cheque's no good.
It's a banker's draft. It can't bounce.
I have to have cash.
350,000? Don't be ridiculous.
Deal's off then.
What on earth do you want cash for?
I'm sorry we couldn't do business.
Wait. It'll take me a couple of days.
24 hours.
Well, you sign it and I'll set the ball rolling.
Cash on delivery. Oh, and Chris, The money? I will be counting it.
There you go. £350,000. Do you want to count it?
Not particularly. Here's the signed paperwork.
Oh, I can't wait to see Dad's face when he learns that I've snatched the stables right from under his nose.
His own son. And you hate him as much as I do.
No, I don't hate the old man. It's just that Papa casts a very long shadow. Pulled himself up by his bootstraps and all that.
He has worked hard for it.
Yeah, well, I'm heartily sick of hearing how I've had it all on a plate. Not once has he trusted me with anything half decent round here.
Maybe you're not up to it, Chris. What do they say? Talent always skips a generation.
Yeah, well, I'll show you, him, everyone. I've got big plans for Home Farm.
And what will Papa have to say about that?
Dad won't be around forever. Whatever he says, that ticker of his is shot.
Callous to a fault.
And you're not? So, where are you clearing off to with your little nest egg? Florida? Antibes?
You'll find out where I'm going and what I'm doing soon enough. And you'd never guess in 1,000 years.
Like I care. Well, no rest for the wicked. Well, don't spend it all at once, eh?
Is everything all right? You look terrible.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Bloody good boy.
Oh.
Sophie, you're the only person I can tell that I can trust. Frank's been very threatening. He's been hitting me.
I'm sorry, but you said on the phone this was about James.
Well, it is. He's your grandson. Do you want him to see his mother being hit?
What happens between you and Frank is none of my business. If he's hitting you, why don't you go to the police?
And who are they going to believe?
Make 'em believe.
You don't understand the hold that man has over me.
You're imagining it.
He's out to get me, and I'm scared. Frank will stop at nothing to get what he wants.
Don't be daft.
What evil are you weaving now? Get into the car. There's no need for amateur dramatics. You keep this up and I'm going to have you certified.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe I am mad.
I couldn't care less what goes on in your mind. But if you know what's good for you, you'll do exactly as I tell you from now on.
God, how I despise you.
The feeling is completely mutual, darling. You better suck it.
Oh. Home Farm? No, but she's just here. I'll put her on. Who's speaking, please? They hung up. Weird.
One of Frank's spies, I suppose.
Kim, I never got a chance to say I'm sorry for telling Frank where you'd taken James.
Oh, forget it. He'd have found me somehow or other. Come on, out with it.
Why do you always make things so difficult for yourself? Why can't you toe the line just once in a while?
It's just my way.
That's no excuse.
You don't know me very well, Sophie.
Well, I know you better than you think.
When you've had a life like mine, you learn how to fight. I just never learnt how to stop.
Doesn't make you happy, though. I hope one day you will stop. I hope... Oh, I don't know. You'll find peace.
Me? No, never. Not until I'm pushing up the daisy. Home Farm. Kim Tate speaking.
Hello.
Who's this?
It's Jan Glover. Is Frank there?
No.
I was ringing to see how you are.
Fine.
Only Frank was so angry, I didn't know what he might do.
Yes, he's frightening when he gets like that. Let's put it this way. I live to tell the tale. Thank you for ringing. It's really kind.
Oh, and the little fella's all right?
Yes, he's wonderful, as ever.
Maybe See you around sometime.
I hope so.
Bye.
Thomas, how are you?
Kim.
You seem surprised to see me. Well, I'm still here, much as Frank wishes otherwise. Was that a new car I saw?
Oh, yes.
I thought I didn't recognize it. Business must be good. Sorry, can I get you a drink?
I've already offered.
So, what brings you here? And not that we're not pleased to see you.
Well, I want to call a meeting of the board.
We're not due one, are we? Is something wrong?
Nothing that concerns you.
Is that right, Chris?
What?
Well, should it concern me? As part owner of the golf course and director of the company?
Yes. Yes, it should.
If you're sure.
I'd like us to meet up as quickly as possible, Frank.
All right, tonight, 7 o'clock in here. I'll ring Zoe.
Well, I'm free.
Come on. What is the panic? What have the revenue got on this account?
Which account?
The Harrison account.
Harrison account. Harrison. Why does that ring a bell?
On the surface, Scotch mist. There's nothing in the books or in the invoices to flag it up as anything different from the rest. Well, that's what worries me.
Phil Harrison. Wasn't he that landscape contractor you used to deal with, Frank? Collapsed with a heart attack. Poor guy died, but his account lived on for undeclared revenue. Now, where did that money wind up again? Some slush fund in Zurich, wasn't it? Do you remember telling me? Used to pass for pillow talk in our day. How many years ago was that? 8, 9?
6.
6 years. Imagine that. All those invoices from poor dead Phil. All that money draining out of our account and into our other account. Oh dear. Not a good day for us directors. Well, see you at 7 then.
So,
Sorry, I'm late. Zoe?
what's the worst case scenario?
If we are to cooperate, we're looking at a penalty payment plus the interest on the unpaid tax.
Going back 6 years.
We could end up paying double the original tax bill.
And if we don't cooperate?
Prosecution.
Just a minute. What do you mean cooperate or don't cooperate?
It's quite simple, Zoe. We throw our hands up and say, sorry, Mr. Taxman, it's a fair cop, and he sends us away with a slap wrist and a promise not to smuggle cash, tax-free again.
So, the Revenue are right to investigate this.
Do excuse my sister, she's a little dense at times.
Don't patronise me.
Then grow up. You knew the score, you were happy to take the profits. You can't wash your hands of it now.
Wash my hands. I was never even consulted. I'm taking no part in this.
Nice try, Zoe. But as officers of the company, you're, sorry, we're equally and severally liable.
So what do you expect to gain from all this?
Me?
This has got your hallmark written all over it. You want to point the finger, Thomas? Point it at her. She's the one who leaked this to the Revenue.
Oh, don't be absurd.
Who else had access to the information? Who else was twisted enough to exploit it?
Round this table? Don't make me laugh. Every one of them would stab you in the back.
Oh, ignore her.
I don't hear Chris protesting. Why's that, I wonder?
You think you're bigger than the business, don't you? Well, you're not. I work my fingers to the bone for this company, and I'm not going to let you wreck it. I'd shoot you first.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
I agree. Let's take a break for a moment. Let people cool down.
Don't bother. You started this without me. You don't need me to finish it. You too. Your son's with.
Thomas.
You've disappointed me. I thought you were going to tell him. You know how Frank hates secrets.
You breathe a word, and I will tell him, do you hear?
You two kids play nicely now. Have to get that haircut soon, won't we? Who will take you for that, I wonder? Sophie? Is she still here? Don't wake up now. Don't open your eyes. Be a good boy, James. Promise? You be a good boy for Mummy. I think I'll have a drink. Care to join me? Care to live a little?
It's your last drink in this house.
Better make it a big one, then. Now, let me guess. You've spoken to your solicitors, and you want me out. First thing. Well, pardon me for yawning, Frank, but for a self-made man, you're all talk and trousers.
You prefer yours without.
Very good. No, I prefer my men to act like men and stick to their word.
Like Glover did? When he swore eternal love and then went off and married Kathy?
But he came back to me.
So you say. Maybe it was one of your delusions. God, you've had enough of them. Sabotaging your own business. Torturing the Glovers with a grandson that isn't even theirs. God, you've hit rock bottom. I'm going to have you sectioned.
You think I'm mad?
I know it.
You've really lost it, Frank.
Not from where I'm standing.
So try it. Lock me up. Keep tabs on James. Send him to a nice school where he can learn to be a nice boy. See how far it gets you.
Sounds good enough to me.
And while you're at it, you can stop the tide coming in. He'll grow up. He's my son. You'll never be able to control him like the other two.
You won't be here to stop me.
It's in his genes. He'll bite back. You used to like that in me. Remember?
I was a fool.
They used to think I was just some trophy wife to drape across your arm. But you knew. Under that sparkly frock, I had more guts than any man you'd ever met. It used to turn you on, Frank.
You're sick. You're a bad mother, a danger to your son. And the state you're in, you're probably a danger to yourself.
I'm a danger to you.
Postnatal depression? Grief over Glover? It could be 1,000,001 things.
Grief? He saved our baby's life. Have you forgotten that?
No.
And would it have mattered if he hadn't? A man like you could always bought another one.
You little...
Go on. Do it. Prove you're still alive.
Is that what he used to do?
You... You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Who will you fight with then? You'll just shrivel up and die.
The day you leave, I can start to live again.
Don't bank on it.
Oh, I mean it. You're going. You've lost everything.
Everything? By everything you mean money?
Your home, your son, the £1 million.
There's more to life than money, Frank.
Oh, come again? I didn't quite hear you right.
I said there's more to life. And that's why you'll never beat me.
I already have.
I've made sure you won't. I'll have the last word, Frank. I always have, and I always will.